All right, hey guys. Okay, so part three of me working at Walmart. So at this point, me and Jake are pretty close, and we're going out to the bar every single weekend. Um, it's very rare that we're not going to the bar on the weekend. I don't think that we ever didn't go to the bar on weekends at that point. Um, and he would like to go with me because, of course, I always talk to the. I'm always good at talking with girls. I was just better at it than he was, and he would just rather leave it to the professional, I guess. Um, and I was very smooth with it. I would just approach them and I would talk to them as if it was for me. And not even like be like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get on that with you or nothing. It's not even like that. It'd be more or less just us having a conversation. And at some point, I'm asking them like, yo, do you come out here often, or do you go to other bars in the area? Okay, I'll go out to other places every now and then. Maybe we could go out as a group to some areas. Like I got some boys that I'll hang out with. Maybe you could bring some of your girlfriends, whatever. We call just one large group, and they'd be cool with it. They'd be cool with it. I mean, it was just like, yeah, sure, 100%. Like, especially because it's like I'm already a good impression for everybody already. Knowing that we don't go in a group, it's just me and him. I would take her number. And later on that night, I would introduce her to him and say, hey, this is Jake. Hey, Jake, this is this girl. I just met her earlier. You guys can chop it up or whatever. I would just leave them to it at that point. I would just introduce them to each other and then leave them to it. At that point, they could just talk about whatever they want to talk about. Normally, he'd just go about getting their number. He would get it. I would never text her. He would just text her, and that would just be the end of that. Um, so that's how that would usually go. Um, Later on in the like this is the beginning of the next year. This is January 22. Where I see this girl who's his type. I know this is his type because I go out and get every single girl that he likes. He never goes after her after them himself unless I like. Well, I'll try to make him do it, but he doesn't do it. I'm like, bro, just go and talk. Just go up there and talk to her. It's not that hard. Like I'll even say what to say and just start from there. Just go from there. He's scared to do it, so it's like whatever. I had went to I was like, hey, I was like, hey Jake, is this girl like I was like, you see this girl right here? He said, yeah. I was like, the way she looks. He was like, yeah. So you gonna say something to her? He didn't say anything. I said, scary, and I just walked away. I walked away, and I didn't even walk straight towards her. I just walked away from him. Because I was gonna like just see her at some other point. I was just walking around the bar like twice, and then maybe when I see her, I'll just walk up to her. At some point, I did, and I approached her, and I was like, hey, my name is Change. Do you got some spirit change? No, I'm just joking. Do you have my name is Change? Um, and she told me her name. Um, and yeah, so I'm talking to her, and I didn't realize this, but she had one earbud in. She's on the phone the entire time with some guy. I think it was like her boyfriend at the time, but I just didn't know. I didn't know. Um, I asked her where she's from. No, I've never seen her out there before. You plan on coming out here again? Do you go out to the city often? Questions like that. At some point, I ask her for a number. Um, at some point, I ask her for a number. She just gives it to me. And I'm like, yeah, next time maybe we can go as a group, or maybe we can go out and eat her with something beforehand or whatever. It's nice to know people out this way when you're coming out this way and like having people who are familiar with you. And we're a pretty chill group of guys anyway. Um, yeah. So at some point in our conversation, I just bring up something else. I'm waiting for him to show up by me, and because this, I mean, it never happens like that. It never happens like that. Like it's never like planned like that. It's just me walking up on them and then just walking up to them later. But I'm like, maybe there's something that I don't want to leave with just okay, I got your number and then bam, I'm gone. Like what? We're not gonna have a decent conversation after that. I'm trying to find something that we can bond with right here, so that I can have a reason to approach you or for us to talk later, type thing. I know it's like it seems confusing because it's like, well, if you don't plan on talking to her, why would you do all that? It's just to make a good impression for the boy. Um, and he walked by me, and as soon as he walked by me, he's walking past me, like for example, I'm standing facing her, she's standing facing me, and he's walking from her direction past me. He doesn't even see that I'm there. He didn't even notice me. And I stop him, I turn him around and say, hey, Jessica, this is Josh. Hey, Josh, this is Jessica. Hey, Jessica, Josh is pretty cool. And then I just walked away. I promise that's exactly how it happened. It happened exactly like that. So I left them to it. That was like a warm pass off. It was pretty cold. It was a pretty cold pass off already. I just gave them each other's names and said, "Hey, this person's pretty cool." And then I just left. Uh, like, all right, bro, you take it from here. Because it was okay. She didn't seem all that interested. She didn't seem super interested. She gave me. I can tell she gave me your number just because I asked type deal. And it's like, I might not even text him or whatever. I might, I might not. But it's like she didn't seem all that interested. It seemed like it was like I just needed to get her away from me, basically, because it wasn't for me anyway. So it's like I'm not going to be all that invested in this. It's not even for me. Um, and yeah, so what is it? So they started. They were talking like off and on. Ended up dating, and I was out of there. I left in May. I left Walmart in May. I just I was in a very rough financial situation, and the amount of overtime that I was working wasn't cutting it. Like I was just not making any money for real. Um, which is crazy because I was making pretty good money. I was making pretty good money with all the overtime I was doing. I was probably making like easily like $1,600 to $1,800 every 2 weeks, which was great for 2022. It's great even now. It's actually pretty doable even now in the area that I live in, but it was great for 2022. But yeah, I would say about 1,600 I was probably making. I think I remember making 1,800 one week or one paycheck, but it's like I don't know if that actually happened like that. I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did. One thing about working in like a regular like office desk job that only has like 40 hours a week, that has like very limited hours of opening, is that you're only going to work 40 hours a week at most. Um, while over there, I'm easily touching 60 hours plus every week. Um, so yeah, I could easily see even with me making like $18 an hour. With me, I could easily see that happening with me making something along the lines of like 1,800 every 2 weeks. Man, I'm gonna look back into that. That's actually pretty crazy. Let me look that up. 18. Let's say I was making $17 an hour, 17 an hour, or 60 hours plus overtime is how much. All right, man, come on. Uh, what? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was about. Yeah, I see 60 hours comes out to be about just under $1,200 in a week. If I'm making $17 an hour normally. So yeah, I was touching 18%. I was touching 1,800 every 2 weeks. Okay, this video was only 7 minutes long. All right, cool. All right, cool. Okay, so so later that year, I am working. Okay, so I left in May. I moved in with my father. This was in about a town like 3 hours away. I'd never lived with my dad before for my life. My dad had not lived with me since I was like 2 years old, maybe even younger than that. Um, I lived with him for about 2 months. May, June. No, 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 no. I left in April. I came out there for May. In June, I came back because I had a job at a high end hotel doing security. That was my security job. And while I was there, he got her pregnant. Um, now it's interesting because the weekend that they actually like went out and that they think that she got pregnant was the same weekend that I told them they had no business being together. Because at that point, he had pretty much like their relationship had gotten very toxic. Um, she was pretty physically abusive. Um, she's pretty physically abusive. And she yeah, but he just couldn't leave her alone. He just could not leave her alone. I told him to leave her alone. I said, bro, she's not good for you. You gotta leave her alone. I didn't even think she was gonna act like this. I didn't even think that it was gonna come out like this. But you gotta leave that girl alone. No, he didn't want to. He liked her too much. And at some point, I'm getting her pregnant, and yeah, yeah, I would think that um, that's probably the end of that story. I don't think much else took place. At least not much else that I want to make public. Not much else I want to make public. Okay, so Let me talk about how my employment ended there at Walmart. So I wasn't feeling the job anymore. I wasn't making enough money, which is crazy because I was making 1,800 every 2 weeks. About maybe okay, realistically, I was easily touching like 1,200 every 2 weeks, which might come down to like 1,000. But with like a little bit overtime, like 12, 13, 14, and then like at the most when I'm coming there like all the time. I mean, like I'm staying late every single day. I'm saying late every day and everything. 18. That's the most I've ever had from there. But I think casually from with overtime, I was making like 1,600 every 2 weeks. It was a pretty sweet job. It was a sweet job all in all. So I had I was showing up late a lot. I was having issues with a lot of Yeah. I was having issues with a lot of with the management up there because I was showing up late all the time. And the thing is that my friend had just got promoted to a manager, and they really wanted to make it seem like that I just didn't that I wasn't respecting their schedules because my friend was a manager. And it's like, hold on, wait a minute, I was late every single day before this. Like I was late every day, like before all of this. So what do you mean? Like before he was a manager, I was late all the time. Why would I wait until my boy is a manager to start coming in late? Like I get some type of special protections or something like that. That's I never moved like that. Uh, so yeah, they tried to make that an issue or whatever. Um, and between my horrible financial state that I was in, because I was in a lot of debt at the time, um, I felt like that was a time for me to make a move and for me to make a change. And yeah, I felt like it was time for me to leave, really. So I did. I left, and yeah. At some point, I remember the manager was so he had so much going on. I guess he was like stressed out because like people were getting on him about certain things. It came off as unfair because people were told that like he was getting told that oh he's late every single day. Why hasn't he not been fired yet? But you're thinking about firing me, but he's never been fired. And it's like it's really not fair. It's honestly not fair. What I did wasn't fair. I can admit that. I'm not really I'm not above admitting that. So after that, he had like two meetings back to back. Now a meeting is like with everybody, and he's talking broadly about everyone, but we all know he's talking about me. He went on for about 30 minutes, and then he came back and then he did it for another 30. So we had 1 hour's worth of meetings just in the beginning of the night. Our first break hit. I texted him and told him to meet me in the front office during first break, which is completely backwards because normally the manager's supposed to hit you up and say meet me in the front office. I'm telling him to meet me in the front office. So it's completely switched. It's completely flipped. So he goes back there and I tell him, look, I'm hearing you in our meeting. Like I hear you. Like I 100% understand you. I don't want you to feel like that you're going to do something that you don't want to do. I want to put you in a messed up position more than I already have, and I apologize for doing that. So I want to take full responsibility for what I was doing. Which is basically why I told him that. Like before we get into this, I want to understand. I want you to understand that whatever you're talking about, you're 100% right. You're not wrong on any front, and there's no argument with any of that. And I said, I don't want you to. I know we both know that you can go into some cameras and look and see the fact that I've been changing times over, so I'm not late. Because if you have 5 points, you're automatically fired automatically. But if you change your time, that's different. You don't have to do that. You don't have to worry about that. And but the thing is, they can choose to catch you changing your time, or they can choose to just not catch you. They chose to just not catch me because I was that much of an asset to them. But it's like it shouldn't cost you your sanity at the same time just to keep me here. I said, if you want me to leave, tell me to leave and I'll leave. He said, don't leave. I said, what? He said, don't go anywhere. He said, you're one of the hardest workers here. I really like you here. It's really management's fault for not holding people accountable. He wasn't talking about he was talking about other management too, not just him. For not holding people accountable. We just have to take your time here more seriously, and that's really all there is to it. But don't think that you have to leave. I don't want you to leave. Don't leave. And I was kind of like at a loss. I was like, huh? We just had two 30-minute meetings back to back about me specifically. Huh? What do you mean you don't want me to leave? I would think that me leaving would be the easiest thing possible. And I was just trying to make things easier for him because I knew he didn't deserve all of that. But yeah, no, he told me to stay. Um, which is crazy. It goes into the what I talked about earlier, like with the whole, you know, I never really had to deal with any real consequences behind my tardiness, behind my poor my poor timing. I never really had to deal with any real consequences behind them. Um, so yeah, uh, we went ahead and went back to work, and I just tried to get better at it. Of course, I didn't. I kicked myself out of that spot. I left. I left on my own accord. No one wanted me to leave. I ended up leaving. Um, and it was even when I came back out there and I knew I didn't want to do security anymore. It was hard for them to want to bring me back because it's like, well, now we've gotten acclimated to you not being here. It's kind of easier not having you here because we can hold everyone to the same standard instead of giving people special privileges like you. So yeah, it's man, take that to say I'm saying that to say like man, try to. And the thing is, people don't have the same issues I have broadly. People are not having the same issues broadly. But I know that there are some people out there who deal with the same exact issues when it comes to time management, sleep schedules, and stuff like that. That I deal with. And man, it's just like try to up the quality of those things as quickly as you possibly can. If you can set up certain systems in place where you can get out the house earlier, if you can find ways to up your quality of sleep, whether it's what you're listening to, whether it's cutting screen time, whether it's cutting, eating too late or drinking water too late. I don't know about drinking in general. It might actually help you go to sleep, but you're not getting up on time probably if it hits too hard. And even if you have things like sleep apnea, you need a sleep study or stuff like that. Man, get that stuff done, man. I'm just now picking up on that. I'm just now about to, look into what it takes for me to get a sleep study done so I can find out if I have sleep apnea. If they need to, you know, fix whatever, take my tonsils out so I can breathe better, open up my nasal passages better so I can sleep and so I can breathe better when I'm my allergies. My nose is inflamed right now while I'm talking, and it gives me kind of like a little bit of a nasally tone. Um, blow my nose right now. So it's like, yeah, it's get that stuff out of the way early on, as early as possible, man. It's possible. It's possible. You can if and it's like a lot of people should have had those things dealt with when they were kids. Then again, they likely didn't develop it until they got older. But a lot of people could have had those things dealt with when they were children, and their parents just never took them. They just thought of it as normal. Man, if your sleep quality is low, if people are telling you when they're sleeping near you that you stop breathing at some points, get that stuff handled so you can sleep better, sleep more soundly. Only requires so much sleep. Wake up fully energized, fully rested. Man, eat well so that you can have the correct energy levels and you're not dealing with things like high blood pressure. It's hard for to stand for long periods of time and stuff like that. I'm not saying that's me. I do have high blood pressure though, and I am getting under control. But yeah, man, just take your health seriously and check in about the right things. Like even if you feel like you're okay and you're fine, man, look into those things, man, because they really do affect a lot of things. Like my friend, one night he stayed over, and we actually went to sleep in the same room, and he said that from how quickly I knocked out and how deep my sleep was, he knows why I don't get up at a certain time. He knows why I'm not getting up in time to go to work. He says when you're asleep, you're asleep. I didn't have any alarm clocks at the time either. I had no alarm clocks at that time. So it was very. I was just winging through life every single day. I was just winging it. Man. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, just go ahead and go into the comments. Um, like, comments, share, subscribe, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you.